Hi everyone, my name is Courtney. I write under the pen names Lyra Parrish, and I'm one half of the USA Today best-selling duo Kennedy Fox, and today we're going to talk about dictation. But before we get started, I just wanted to give you all a thank you for reaching out to me and making sure that I was fine. I live in Texas, if you're not aware, and I never lost power. I'm actually on the Southwest Louisiana, Southeast Texas power grid, so we're not on the main one that the rest of the state is on. So I actually had power the whole time. We did not have any pipes burst, although all of my neighbors around me, their pipes weren't as lucky, and getting a plumber right now is crazy. I was very fortunate and very grateful that I didn't have anything to deal with at my house. My dad's place was running off generators. They were taking really good care of him. My mom lost power for 12 hours, but then it came back on. Her water well is currently not pumping, and so I am in the process of dealing with all that and dealing with a water well man and all of this stuff. Country living, guys, at its finest, but I am good. My family is okay, and I just want to say thank you all so much for messaging me on Instagram and Facebook and even leaving comments on YouTube. I really appreciate it, but I did okay. It really means a lot that many of you would care enough and make sure that I was okay. It's just been a really strange year. I hope 2021 isn't 2020's younger sister. That would be crazy. That's all I have to say about that. Secondly, I am drinking strawberry and cream tea from Oteas. It came from my Sips by Tea box. I'll have a link down below in the description. I wish I could show y'all how amazing this is. I added some almond milk and Splenda to it, and it's just really refreshing, and it's got caffeine in it. Like, I need more of that in my life. But today we are going to talk about dictation, and I'm really excited to share with you all that I know about it. A quick disclaimer, I am not a professional at dictation. I am very new. I've only dictated about 25,000 words. I've learned some things throughout that process that I thought that I would share with you guys. At the beginning of dictation, I was doing a lot of research, and everyone just kept saying the same things. They're like, you just gotta get used to it. You just gotta try it. And I was like, yeah, but how? How do I dictate? I need someone to actually show me what I need to do. I hope that I can help you actually get started. I read several books. I will put the covers here. I will put the links down below if you're interested in that. I found them to be very helpful. One of them had exercises inside of it. That was helpful too. So if you're interested in researching before you start, if you look down below in the description, I will have some links for you down there. Why dictation? That's always the question. I can type pretty fast. I can write about 2,000 words in an hour if I am on fire. If I am driving the struggle bus, I can get about 1,000 words in an hour. And one of my things is I have pretty bad carpal tunnel. That's from working corporate for 10 years of my life. I've been on a laptop since AOL days when I was like 16. That just kind of dated me a little bit. I have been in front of a computer for over half of my life. And so you get this. I don't know if you could hear it, but my wrists pop all the time. And there are some times when I have to wear braces to bed because my wrists are so sore, and I am not getting any younger. My thought process was, if I can learn how to dictate now when I am in my prime, in my 30s, then when I'm in my 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s, even my 80s, I will have different options in case my hands just will not function the way that I need them to. Also, with dictation, you can write on the go. If you want to go to the park and walk, if you want to go do a lap down your street and come back, if you want to pace inside your house, you have the ability to do that. You're not tied to an office space like this. There are times when it's fall or spring in Texas and you are not melting outside that I like to go take walks in the afternoon. It's actually pleasant, and I wanted to be able to work and move, and that's another reason why I was like, hey, dictation, I need to do this. And so I wanted to share some tips and tricks that I have learned while dictating. And one of them is to really know what you are sitting down to write or dictate before you get started. As Kennedy Fox, me and Brooke outline pretty detailed. It's because we're writing chapters out of order, and we have to know what happened in the previous chapter. So for example, if Brooke wrote chapter 5 and I'm to write chapter 6, I have to know exactly what happened in 5, so then our chapters connect together correctly. So outlining is already a part of my process. If you are a pantster, because I know there are many people who just write by the seat of their pants out there, I would say before you start dictating, write down a scene and bullet points of what you want to cover in your dictation. I usually have my outline on my computer. I've got it blown up where it's big, and I can pace around my office and read what comes next. And I will take breaks between our bullet points. And so when we outline, we write bullet points and sentences of things that need to happen. And so I just go down in order and dictate those things. And I find that to be very easy. Another tip is you do not have to rush. I am talking fast in this video because I naturally talk fast. But when I'm dictating, I tend to slow down to about this speed. And sometimes I'll take breaks like that just to get my thoughts in order. And then I will continue on. And that's as fast as you have to talk. You could literally pause for 5, 10, 15 seconds to get your thoughts together and continue on. You will still dictate more than you can write. On average, I have found that when I am dictating and I am talking this slow, getting my words out and taking the time to think about what I'm going to say next, I can get between 4,000 and sometimes 5,000 words in 1 hour. And to me, that's like, wow. Because typically, like I said, if I'm writing, I'm gonna get like 1,000 words. If I'm on fire, like this is like high performance stuff, for me, I can get about 2,000 words. There is no way that I could ever type 4,000 words in 1 hour. It's just not physically possible for me. I've never been able to do it. I think the most that I've ever written in an hour was like 2,400 words. That's it. I've never gotten over that. So to even think that I can compete with dictation, that would be crazy. I know that it's not possible. You have time when you're dictating to stop, process what you need to say next, and say it. You do not have to rush. You do not have to speed talk. You do not have to talk as fast as I'm talking in this video right now. You don't have to talk that fast. If you want to, and that's natural for you, go for it. But I've found the slower I talk, the better my words are, and the less I fumble around with what I'm trying to say. So the next tip that I would say is to take breaks. You do not have to dictate for an entire hour. What I like to do is I like to sprint, essentially. I like to dictate for 10 minutes, take a break for 5 minutes. But typically once I get warmed up and I am on a roll and I'm just dictating, and sometimes I will get up and move around while I'm dictating, I find that I can go longer. I can dictate for 15 or 20 or even 30 minutes at a time, and it doesn't feel like anything. And I think that's because I'm able to move or pace or walk around my house or do something like that. But I would say at the beginning, breaks are really good to have, because while we are sitting at a laptop and we're doing this the whole time, when we're dictating, we're using our voices. And many of you I know are introverts, and you probably don't talk a lot, so it may wear down on your vocal cords a little bit. So another tip I have, segueing into that, is to warm up before you dictate. There are videos on YouTube for vocal warm-ups where you can read sentences, you can do different inflections. I know that with dictation, we're not trying to like perform something, but it does help warm up your vocal cords so then your voice doesn't feel as sore. I also would like to say warm beverages are great. Hot teas, coffees, that always helps soothe my throat. And when I take my breaks, I like to sip on that. I even do it during my YouTube videos. I typically have a cup right here. And so when I mess up or I say something that I'm like, I can say that better, I'll stop, I'll take a sip, let that warmth go down and coat my throat, and it is no different when I am dictating. When I first started, I was dictating 5 minutes at a time, seeing how it made me feel, things that I would try differently, and then I was upping the time. Another tip that I have for you is when you are done dictating for the day. So for example, if you dictate for 1 hour, when you are done dictating, I would self-edit and review the things that you dictated. So I've done it both ways. I've dictated for an hour, I've pasted 3,000 or 4,000 words into my Scrivener, and then I self-edit, and so it is ready. It's a final copy. I'm ready to move on to the next chapter the next day. And I have also dictated 2 chapters at once, and then the next day I went back to self-edit. And what I have found is it's much easier when it's fresh on my mind to go ahead and self-edit directly after I get finished dictating. And I know some people may ask me, well, how long does it take you to self-edit after you dictate for an entire hour? For me, it takes me about 30 minutes to go through and read it and fix fix anything that it didn't quite understand or it didn't get right. When it's fresh on your mind and you know what you just said, it's much easier to go through it. When I waited a day and then I did it the next day, it took me much longer. It took me almost an hour to an hour and a half to go through it because I was trying to remember what the outline was, and there was sentences that it didn't quite catch, so it wasn't fresh on my mind, so I kind of didn't know what I was talking about. And so that's one tip that I would say to do. Dictate, maybe take like a 20-minute or 30-minute break, switch into edit mode, and then read through it and clean it up. So then you're ready to move on to the next chapter. So the thing that you're probably all asking is, what program do I use to dictate? And it is Otter. It is on Android and iPhone. It's literally on your phone. You do not need to go onto Amazon and buy a $200 dictation handheld thing. You don't need that. You just need your cell phone. That is it. And I know most people in 2021 have a cell phone. They have a smartphone. It's literally just an app on the cell phone. And I am going to show you real quick what it looks like. I don't know if my camera's focusing on it, but there it is. I'll also put a picture up on the screen so then you know. The cool thing about Otter is it automatically adds punctuation. And I have tried others. I know that there's Dragon Dictation for your cell phone. It's no longer a Mac program. It's only for Windows. You have to speak all of your punctuation. So if I was going to speak a sentence like this, comma, I would need to go ahead and say period at the end, period. If I was going to speak dialogue, open quotes, I guess that's what it is, close quotes, period. To me, that slows me down. I didn't like it. I paid for Dragon for about 6 months. I tried it out every once in a while, and I just didn't care for it. And so I am in a dictation group on Facebook, and a lot of people said that they liked Otter. I downloaded it. And the good thing about it is you get 600 minutes for free every month. So you can try out dictation. You can see if you like it. You don't have to pay for anything. You can dictate a few chapters. 600 minutes is a lot. You can dictate chapters, probably half of your book, but it gives you plenty enough time to test it out and see if you like it. I'll have a referral code down below. They are not sponsoring this video at all. They give a referral code to everybody. I don't even know if I get anything or what it does, but I saw it in my app, so I'll put it down below in the description. It'll send you a link to the app. You can download it and then sign up. To me, it's one of the best apps out there for dictation. So one of the pros obviously is you get 600 minutes for free, so you don't have to pay for anything. You can practice. That's a lot of minutes. Also, with the free account, you can email it to yourself in a text document, which is really cool. That's how I send it to myself. But it's not perfect. There are some things that I don't really care about. And one of those is, for example, it's very important when you're using Otter that you use your dialogue tags. So for example, he says, she says, he said, she said. Insert the person's name here. I am Southern, and sometimes it doesn't always pick up the names that I say. For example, we are writing books right now where the child's name is Owen, and it always puts O-H-I-N in 2 different words. It doesn't know it's Owen, and I think that's just because it's the way that I say it. So it's not perfect when it comes to names. So if you're writing fantasy or something like that, I would probably give it a very easy name that it can pick up and then go back, Control F, and replace it with your crazy fantasy name. Also, there's no paragraphs. So for example, when you export it, you are going to get a whole long paragraph of text. And so when you go through and self-edit it, you will need to make sure that you break it up into paragraphs. And that's my 2 hangups with it. But when I compare it to Dragon and having to say the punctuation every single time, I would much rather have to do that. I don't want to say period every single time I am done speaking a sentence. I don't want to do that. And I don't want to say commas either. This automatically adds it. No, it's not perfect. No, it's not an editor. It doesn't know grammar completely. Sometimes if you break for too long. It'll make short sentences, but that's why you go and read over your document when you're done with it. So then you know, oh, these were supposed to be together. So then you know that these sentences were probably supposed to be together and this word was actually supposed to be this word. So it's very minor things, but things that are still kind of annoying, and I want to be completely transparent with my opinions on this program. All you need, as I said, is a cell phone, and that's it. I am kind of bougie, and so I did buy a Shure mic because it is a tax write-off, and it looks like this. It plugs in to the bottom of my phone. I'll show you real quick. It comes in a nice little fancy case like this. It's actually got an iPhone connector on the bottom, and it's literally just plug and play to my phone. I think I have to actually take my case off because it's too thick. It's just a plug and play. You plug it in here, it picks up the mic, and then it can hear you better. I feel like this is good for outside, so then I can just hold my phone like this. I also have a lapel mic that I do not know where it is at this moment, but it was like $15 or $20 on Amazon. But really, you do not need any of that to get started with dictation. You don't need to buy anything. You don't even need to buy an app. You've already purchased this little fancy schmancy iPhone or Android, and it has everything you need in it. The Apple headphones that connect into the bottom of here, that's got the little microphone right here, that works perfectly fine. There's no issues with that. And the AirPod Pros, which are the ones that I have, they seem to pick up my voice completely fine if I'm like walking around and I have got my AirPods in. Those are some options if you want to be bougie, but you do not have to be. I've found that when I'm outside and it's kind of noisy, it's good to have the different options of microphones, but you do not need it. It's just a want. It's not an absolute need. I am going to put a screen over here and I'm gonna record on my phone, so then you can kind of see what it looks like when I go into the Otter app. That's all the ones that I have recorded. You can see it says December 20th. There's a lot of notes ready or whatever, and that's because I like to sprint when I dictate. It makes it a lot easier. And so we're just gonna go to the record, and it's already recording me. And so you can see this here in real time. I'll also have the screen up on the side because I don't know if you can actually see it. But as I'm talking, it's actually picking up all the words that I'm saying. And this speed that I'm going at this point is kind of fast because when I'm dictating, I don't really talk at that speed. And so if you look at it, it's actually giving the commas and stuff in the text, which is really cool. Now I'm going to pause for a second so you can see what it does when you pause. Okay, so you can see that there, it breaks it down, and it's kind of like in a conversational thing, which can be kind of annoying to look at, but it's really not that bad. It's just keeping a time and all of that. And so I am going to stop this recording on my phone, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like when you export this to your email. And so we're going to press stop here, and it's saved a conversation. It says that the note is actually processing, and then once it processes, you'll be able to go in there and send it to yourself via email. And literally that's what I do. Let's click on it. And so our note is ready. It tells you how long you went for up in the corner. It also tells you what the date is. Also puts in the key words that you said during your dictation. So on the last screen that you saw where it said Noah and all these things, that's characters that's in our book. So here we are, and we can go up to these three dots in the corner, and we're going to press export, and you can export your audio or your text. And what I'd usually do is export text, and then in the format I do plain text, but you have plain text and regular text. I just do plain text. It's not even a big deal. When you update to the pro version, you get DocX, but I'm typically writing in Scrivener, so plain text is completely fine. And you're gonna click here and you're gonna do export as monologue. If you have several people, you can give the speakers names, you can keep your timestamps, but I just want the words. I don't need to know about what time I said what at all. So I export as monologue, press continue, and then you can email it to yourself. There we go. And so what I do is I'll just send it to my Lyra Parrish email. I'll say dictation 1, and then I will email it off. And that's it. Then I'll go onto my laptop, I'll open it up, paste it in my Scrivener, and then edit it. And that is it. That's all you do to dictate. Isn't that crazy? Dictation has been so different. I feel like when I'm dictating, my words are way more active and they're just more exciting. And when there's a lot of action that you're dictating, you're just into it and you're just like excited. Like, I pace around my office. It's not very big. I get maybe like 5 steps back and forth. It just gets my blood pumping and I really enjoy it. A lot of people have asked me about dictation and I am not a pro. I'm still very, very new at it, but I thought I would share some tips and tricks and the things that I've learned using it. I did do like 90% of a book that I wrote. I'm about to do 7 chapters in this book that I'm writing now. Really excited about it. I look forward to still writing, but in a different way. That's all I have. If you have any questions about dictation or Otter or any of that, please let me know. I will try to help you as best as I can. And I appreciate y'all being here. I hope y'all have an amazing, incredible week. You accomplish all your goals and you write all the words, and I'll see you again in my next video. Bye guys.